Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. Yes, I'm back after a bit of a bout of illness. I am finally back in front of the con and ready to go, and just making sure my co-pilot's ready because we're going up into the skies today with air combat. Yes, this was the name that was given to Ace Combat, or at least this was the first game of the series where they changed it to Ace Combat after this one. So, for all intents and purposes, I've not actually played this one before. I have enjoyed other Ace Combat games, so I'm actually looking forward to going through the series with you guys. Now, it might not be one after the other, because I don't want it to all burn out. See what I did there? Anyway, so yeah, flight simulations have always been a bit of a bugbear for me. They're either really good or they're total utter pants. But for me, I always like to have an external view of what I'm doing. I don't know why. I'm the same with racing games. I have to see the outside of my car, and just like this, I like to see the outside of my plane. It doesn't make any difference to me what we do. The game is still, it's still the same game, but there's just certain times I prefer to see an external view. You pick an aircraft, you want to see it, right? So, yeah, Air Combat on the PlayStation 1, which I do believe is a conversion from the arcade game, so that's even better. So your missions start out where you have a certain amount of targets that you need to take out, and then your mission will come to an end, and you can move on to the next one. And if I am correct, because with the other Ace Combat games, you could select which plane you wanted to use for the missions that you were going to undertake. So I think we'll probably be asked to select our plane in a second. You can view the aircraft as well, which is quite nice. And I think they all have various levels of speed, defense, and handling as well. Sort of like, it's like your general car games. You normally have one that's a good overall. You have another that's good at speed. You have another. There you go. There's all the stats there that you can see. So the F-14 seems to be pretty much the one that has, apart from mobility, it's a pretty good all-rounder, I suppose. Then there's the F4, which I suppose if you wanted to have a zippy little plane, then you could do that. But we're going to go with the F14 because, hey, Top Gun vibes. Yeah, so let's get stuck into the game and see how it plays, because I've been quite excited about this one. Do you ever get gamer's block, by the way? Because I've suffered gamer's block a fair bit over the last week. As well as being poorly, I have not had a clue on what to play, so I thought I'd give this a go. So you can see here that you can be inside the plane, but I do believe you can be outside also. So we'll mess about with the controls in a few minutes, and we'll see what's happening with that. Let's get some bearings on this. So my targets are ahead of me in those white boxes. We need to get a bit closer before we can lock on. Oh, there we go. We've got a lock on now. So we can fire missiles at them, and we can shoot guns. So when it says fire, I do believe that you can use your machine guns and try and bring them down. So there we go. I'm just going to be lazy and use missiles because, well, why not? So, he takes more than 2 missiles to bring down. What a heftily armoured plane this must be. So we've still got him on missile lock. So let's bring him down with another one. Here we go. Boom. And he's out of there, I think. So it's quite cool because it shows you where your enemy planes are in relation to yourself. So follow the red arrows. How ironic that the red arrows are a stunt display team in the UK. Oh, there we go. External view. Now, this is what I kind of like. I like to see my plane. I like to see what it's doing. And you know what? It's really bland, isn't it? But yeah, I can't take it away. It's an arcade shooter. And this is what the Ace Combat series really thrived on. As the games progressed, the planes became more realistic looking, and it was just, an absolute joy to play. Probably the best dogfighting kind of game, if you like. It's more Top Gun than Top Gun, game-wise. This is what Top Gun should have been. Top Gun wasn't a brilliant entry into the aircraft. But I'll tell you something, the more recent Ace Combat game, which I think is Ace Combat 6 or Ace Combat 7, is introducing a Maverick pack. So there you go. So Top Gun and Ace Combat finally coming together the way they should. So anyway, if you go too high, you can stall your plane. But I love the fact you can see you can see all the detail on the plane, as much detail as you're going to get. Like I said, this was based on the arcade game, so it's not about looking great, it's about playing great, and it does. it just feels like you are absolutely out there in your F-14 and having a great time blowing up the enemy. So the only thing about external view, doesn't show you the map. I do believe you can bring the map up, but you can switch back to cockpit view just to do that, I think. So I'll be messing with the controls as we play. Don't worry too much about that, and we'll pick it up as we go along.
Enemy in sight.
So graphically, you know, it's what you'd expect from a PlayStation. This was one of the earlier, I believe, PlayStation releases, probably around the same time as Ridge Racer. I can't say for sure that is correct, but do you know what? I'd have been happy with this. Loading this up on my PlayStation and my CRT screen would have been absolutely amazing. So the actual fact that we're playing this game now and it's good fun is a really good indicator that it stood the tests of time. Might not look as good as we might think because of, obviously, you know, it's today's graphics against yesteryear's graphics, really, isn't it? But you know, you can't pin the graphics on a game. If it's going to be good or not, the gameplay is everything, and so far it's really nice. The plane handles well, controls are nice and easy, which we'll go into in a few minutes, and you've got a nice soundtrack as well. So we will move on to controls now. So everything's reversed as far as up and down goes. So down will actually make your plane rise, and up will make your plane do a nosedive. So, you know, fairly simple. It's what you'd expect from a flight sim, which it isn't, but you know, when it comes to aircraft, you want to have those controls because it feels more authentic. Yes. Now, the only thing I couldn't do was activate analog sticks. So I had to I'm using the D-pad rather than the analogs, and that feels a little bit clunky, but it's responsive, so I can't really take that away, but it doesn't give it that authentic, you're in a plane kind of scenario. But then again, I suppose analog sticks aren't going to be much better anyway, but there we are. So you can see where the enemies are by the red dots on the mission map there. You just got to get to them. Now, you've got, obviously, left and right will turn your craft, and then you can steer and all that kind of stuff, which it all comes down to the D-pad. Then you've got air brakes, and you've got afterburners, and you've also got missiles and guns. You can switch between cockpit view and external view also, and you can bring up the mini map and all that kind of stuff as well, all within very, very handy button presses. It's been well thought out, and there's nothing here that feels like it shouldn't be there. It feels like they've put a lot of thought into the way it should play, and it does give you that nice essence. I mean, there's not so much of a speed thing here. I mean, we're not in speed mode. We're in attack mode, obviously. If we wanted to be a speedy game or an air racing game, then we should look elsewhere. But this is not what this is. This is a good old-fashioned dogfighting game where you fight no dogs at all. But you know what I mean. You get to fight enemy aircraft, and there we go. So all in all, the controls are really nice and tight. The graphics are really nice. Bit sort of basic in parts, but you can understand that for its time. But some of the Ace Combat games I'm going to show you later on are absolutely magnificent. So we'll see how a bit like Burnout, the series of Burnout that I've done, we will see the games evolve through time and see where the graphics are improved, the gameplay improved, everything sort of along those lines. I'm actually really excited to be doing these because, like I said, first Ace Combat game I think I ever played was PlayStation 2, so I don't think I'm familiar with any of the PlayStation 1s, but Ace Combat 2 and Ace Combat 3 I believe are the next two, obviously, in the series, but I don't think there was anything past 3 on the PS1. I think it jumped to PlayStation 2, so we'll be able to play through the PlayStation 2 versions. Obviously it then went to PlayStation 3 and now PlayStation 4. And I'm not sure if there's going to be an entry for PS5. I'm guessing there will be at some point. But yeah, there you go. So it's been released on many different types of generation of console. So it's not hard to find. It's not difficult to pick up. So if this is your kind of game, then go and get it immediately. It is like how Afterburner. It really does scream Afterburner to me, especially in the external view. But that's not a bad thing either, because we're all about the retro in this channel. So having that alongside everything else just works incredibly well. Like I said, the sound and the music's pretty good as well. You've got a good sort of arcadey soundtrack to this, and the only thing that irritates me slightly is this guy that has to comment on every single thing that you do. So if you miss with a missile, he will certainly tell you you've missed with a missile, and he becomes a little bit irritating after a while. But other than that, it's not too bad. Not sure if you can turn him off in the in the options or not. I doubt it, but you know, it's a small bugbear, and probably one that you're not even going to notice. It's just that I did, but you know, that's just me. So, but all in all, it's a pretty sound all-round game. If you like an arcade game, if you like flight sims, if you like dogfighting, if you like missions, it's all wrapped up in that for you, and you're going to enjoy the game. Now, if you haven't played Ace Combat at all, have a look into it, and maybe give yourself a sneak peek of what's going to be coming up on the channel in the near future, because these are games now that need to have that little bit of exposure, and if you enjoy them, then go out and get them, because they're good games. Yeah. It's like Outrun, really, isn't it? You know, you either love it or you hate it. It's the same with flight games. You either love them or hate them. They are very much Marmite car racing and aeroplane games, I find. You either love them or you hate them. Either way, you know, you can pick and choose. You know, at the end of the day, this is why the channel's here. It's, you know, I can play the games. If you like the look of them, go out and play them. If you don't like the look of them, well, you haven't lost anything, have you? Apart from maybe 15 minutes of your time for watching the vid. But other than that, it's a small price to pay for saving you some money. But yeah, very good game by Namco, and you know, obviously they've got some pretty good chops when it comes to the arcades, because Tekken was under their banner as well. So as much as the Capcom logo and sound effect is iconic, well, so is the Namco logo and logo music and all that, so you know you're playing a Namco game, which is great, you know, and they're pretty good at what they do in the arcade, so have some trust in Namco and go out and play it, because I think you might enjoy it. We'll try with a different plane in a second. We'll do one more mission and then we'll wrap it up, but I'm coming to the end of my review soon, so you'll have a bit of mission time without your pilot talking over the top of the over the top of the game. So there you go. We'll try a different... Oh, we've got new aircraft available, apparently. But we will go into this. We'll have another go. So what am I thinking about gameplay value? Well, I think gameplay is fantastic. I think it's great fun, and I think it will bring you back, coming back for more. I think there's a two-player option as well. So, not tried two players, but I imagine that it's split screen, so that could be entertaining as well. Flying with your friends as a wingman, it could be just all of your Top Gun dreams come true. So that's always a plus. The other thing, oh, you got a MiG-29. That's a new one, isn't it? So yeah, the fact we get new planes and stuff like that, that's quite nice. We'll go with the MiG. So why not? Replay value, yeah, you're going to come back to this. I think if you enjoy it and you have fun with it, and and it's your kind of pastime to go up into the skies and blow out enemy aircraft from the and stop them invading, then you know this is your cup of tea, absolutely. So I would recommend wholeheartedly that you play this game. Now, before I take myself off the air, I'd just like to say thank you ever so much for tuning in, and you know, it means the world to me that you guys are checking out my content. So thanks ever so much for that. And just to remind you that we are supporting the Ukraine, and if you would be so very kind, if you see it within yourselves to be amazing human beings, pop along to my Patreon, I'll be giving 10% of all subs to Ukraine efforts. So please if you can, even the lowest tier, it's only about £3 a month, something like that, but it'll all help. So if you can do that, then you have my mass respect. So thank you ever so much, all of you existing subscribers. Great to have you guys along for the ride, and I hope you've enjoyed the review today. I'm going to be coming back with a I'm looking at something on the MSX, but I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the next system that I'm going to look at for I'm going to try and get something out tomorrow if I can, as it's only been a one review this week. So I'm going to try and get something else out to you over the weekend. Other than that, I hope you have a really good time, and if the weather's nice, get out there and have a barbecue. We've got a festival on in our town this weekend, so yeah, it should be nice. And I know there's beer and cider involved, so yeah, can't go wrong with that really, can you? Anyway, folks, have yourselves a lovely weekend. I'll be back very soon, this time, with a brand new review, and until then, you stay safe, look after each other, and yeah, I'll be back soon. Keep it retro, guys. Until then, ta-da!
Enemy locked on target. Fire! Push down! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Push down! Bogey on our 6. Enemy take off. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! On our left!
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stalled. Caution.
Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey on our 6. Fire! Shoot it down! Shoot him away! Take off! Enemy inside. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Take off! Don't let him get away! Toast! Bingo! On our left! On our left!
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stalled.
Bogey at 12 o'clock! And up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Shoot him away! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! On our left! Bogey on our tail! On our left!
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stalled.
Up ahead! On our right! Enemy inside. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bingo! Woohoo! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Blew him away! On our left! Mission accomplished.